edition of the JMU Sports News Podcast. I'm Bennett, Conlin, joined by Jack Fitzpatrick. And Jack, I think the national title dreams for the men's basketball program, we got to put them on pause.
Look, why do we have to start with the bad news, man?
All right, we can start with Indiana winning a national championship.
JMU West, JMU Bloomington, our friends over at Breakin' Tea making a JMU Blue. Did you buy one?
I thought about it, but no, not yet. At least I'm still in the process of considering.
Maybe this Sunday when I'm like 5 beers deep, maybe more, a couple old fashions, watching Seattle beat up on the Rams, and I'm stuck in my home because of the blizzard that's hitting the East Coast. Maybe I'll pull the trigger and
They're
buy
fun.
one.
I would have loved one like during the season though, because it's not really like, I think in 2026 that this coming season, it's not really JMU Bloomington anymore. Like they have the coaches, right? They were there for a bit.
Yes.
Like the guys, the players who made an impact are pretty much all moving on.
Yes. Kamara's gone, Aiden Fisher's gone, Pons is gone.
Surratt, right? I think
Surratt's gone.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know. Is anyone coming back? Is Tucker having
Tyreek Tucker? Tyreek Tucker might. I forget what he left as. If he was a redshirt sophomore or if he was a redshirt freshman.
So they're pretty much done. But it was a heck of a run for them. 16-0. I did not see Signetti doing that, but man, he had his boring Chipotle orders and got the job done.
Okay, we got to talk on two things: boring Chipotle orders, and then also how he nearly turtled away the game. But before we do that, we want to shout out our friends over at Sign Pros. They are fantastic. They've been our partner this entire season, and we absolutely love working with them. They've hooked us up with some fantastic. I say fantastic way too much. I was hosting my radio show solo today. This is a complete side tangent, but I was hosting my radio show solo today, and I've realized my filler word is fantastic. Like talking about instead of like a great game this weekend, like the AFC Championship game, we've got 2 great games. I'm like, we've got 2 fantastic games.
I like it.
It's just fantastic. But our friends at Sign Pros they put the fan in fantastic, man. They can get you any printed materials you need.
Fantastic.
Look, we need a curse word jar, a swear jar, that's what they're called, and a fantastic jar. I think by then we could retire from our day jobs and do this full time.
It's fantastic.
That's fantastic. If you want to help us retire from our full-time jobs and do this full-time, buy us a coffee. We might need more than one. Or if you know like a venture capitalist that wants to throw away money into a media brand, look, we'll try our hand at that too. But buy us a coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/JMU Sports News. For more than 20 years, SignPro has been proudly serving the Valley, helping local businesses stand out and get noticed. Whether it's vehicle wraps that turn heads on the road, dimensional signs that elevate your storefront, or long-lasting banners with yard signs, we bring quality and experience to every project. With a reputation built on craftsmanship and trust, we're here to make your message impossible to miss. Visit mysignpros.net and let's showcase your business with confidence. That's mysignpros.net. Love JMU Sports News? Help us keep bringing you the best coverage we possibly can. Support the show and fuel our work at buymeacoffee.com/JMU Sports News. Every cup keeps us rolling all season long. Buymeacoffee.com/JMU Sports News. Big win, huge play. Don't just remember it, wear the moment. Breaking Tea makes shirts that capture the game's biggest highlights right as they happen. Gear up today using the link in the description. College football's back, and it's time to upgrade your game day gear. Right now, claim 15% off at Home Field. The best retro and vintage apparel in the game. Rep JMU in style. Don't wait. Check the link in description to get your 15% off. What's your Chipotle order?
Oh man, this is a good question. It depends. You know,
it depends?
Yeah,
You're a very guy?
I'll vary the rice depending on vibe.
No. Stop it.
Yeah, I almost always go...
Bennett, Mr. Conlin, you cannot vary rice.
Yeah,
Some days you're just craving brown rice.
Some days I'll do it because it makes me feel healthier, even though I think they're just like...
They're like the exact...
soaking it in something to make it brown. But I usually go black bean. I usually go chicken.
Okay.
And I try to load it up, I usually go mild, but sometimes I'll get some other sauces maybe on the side or something. And I'm definitely trying to go sour cream. I want to go guac. I want to go lettuce. I want to go cheese.
I like this, yeah.
I don't know how much else there is. That's pretty much what I'm doing.
Okay. I'm a white rice bowl. I'm a bowl guy. Bless you. I'm a bowl guy. Are you a bowl guy?
Yeah, I've become a bowl guy. I wasn't originally a bowl guy like in high school.
I might get Chipotle here after we record the show for lunch.
It's good branding.
A great branding. Kurt Signetti should get an NIL deal because he doesn't make enough already.
He's also a genius because his bowl with nothing in it is like $12. And people are going to do it. Like, oh, I got the Signetti. It's like, that's overpriced. It's basically rice and chicken.
Yeah, and guac.
Yeah.
You know Signetti is like, well, I'm getting guac, so I got to save money on my protein. I'd love steak, but I'm going to get chicken so I can get the upcharged guac. That's how his IUP mind is working.
For sure.
But I go bowl, white rice, black beans, fajitas, chicken, tortilla on the side. Mm-hmm. Need the tortilla on the side. Make my own little burrito. Yeah. Then I go pico, mild salsa for the unacquainted. Mm-hmm. Pico, salsa verde, a little bit of salsa verde. Then if I'm feeling crazy, I'll get the queso. I don't love their queso, but sometimes I like that extra sauciness. Cheese, sour cream, lettuce, corn, no guac, nothing else extra. Load that baby up, throw it together, boom, bam. And I used to be a barbacoa guy in high school, but then I realized like barbacoa is like a lot more money than the chicken, and so I then switched back to chicken.
And then how soon after are we using the restroom?
I have a stomach of steel.
Really?
I grew up on Taco Bell. That makes it sound like my mom didn't feed me and I was just like at Taco Bell. No, when I like started having like adult money, I worked at Sweet Frog as my first job. Okay. And when I started having like paychecks and I was like, wait a second, I can just like get food. I was going to Taco Bell maybe 2 or 3 times a week and it forged my stomach into steel.
That, wow, that's something. Usually gets me the next day.
Really? With your bowels, it takes until the next day.
They've been steadily improving. It's very impressive.
That's what everyone's here for. Where else were we going? We were talking Signetti, and then
they won a championship. It's cool, but they're not JMU Bloomington anymore. They're
not JMU Bloomington anymore.
They're just Indiana, and I don't think UCLA is winning a natty.
No. Oh, no Signetti turtling.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was about to turtle away that game, man.
They got a little turtley late, although the 4th down Mendoza touchdown run was very un-Signetti, like going for it there.
But the timeout before was very Signetti. Yeah. It would have been pure JMU Signetti if he used that timeout to then kick the field goal.
And then, like, end of the first half, they're, like, way too conservative.
Very conservative. He also was way too conservative at the end of the game, kicking that field goal. Yeah. Like, you had already gone for it on 4th down to score the touchdown. And now you're settling for the field goal to make a one-possession game where a touchdown beats you no matter what. And honestly,
he knew Carson Beck was going to Carson Beck.
From an analytics standpoint, it's actually better to be up 3 than it is to be up 6, because when you're up 3, the team will settle for a field goal and play for overtime more times than not. Where if you're up 6, they'll play for the touchdown, and the odds of them getting their extra point is much higher.
Yeah.
And you are more likely to lose. That's just coming from an analytics perspective. Like it's better to if you want to be up 3 more than you want to be up 6 in those scenarios. And even like football players have said they prefer being down 4 because it means they're allowed to go score a touchdown.
Yeah, so I mean he's no analytical genius, but he is 16-0 national champ. Like he gets imagine if he like kind of had some of those little leverage spots where he was like leaning into the analytics. Like the Mendoza play. They go for it, they score. If he did more aggressive things like that, man, they could even hit a new level under him. So I'm excited to see what they do, even though it's not going to be the JMU guys doing it.
Yeah, but man, Signetti, Shanahan, Haynes, it's a miracle that he's been able to keep his entire coaching staff together too, like every step of the way.
They're paying them nice now.
They are. Whoo! Again, Signetti. Yeah, I think you can credit a lot of your success to the success of the JMU Sports News Podcast. So if you want us to help prop up the Indiana brand a little bit more, we will be unbiased, but if you pay us $5 million, maybe I'd change my tune pretty quick.
I was cracking up going through old DMs with him where he was just like, hey, I like what you guys do, but like I didn't like that tweet about our COVID cases. I was like, all right.
I almost DM'd him and said I almost DM'd him for my personal, because remember that year, was it his last year at JMU? Yeah, it was the McLeod year. And it was a lot of questionable early down
didn't he like go back and forth with you about like
He was talking to me about quarterback play, and I almost just like tweeted at him or like DM'd him. I was like, so you got a quarterback now, huh?
Yeah, he's a funny guy, man.
I love
him. Good for him.
Yeah. Excited to see how UCLA does with all these JMU guys. I feel like Chesney is not getting enough heat for taking like the same amount of JMU players as
Yeah, everyone's saying that he did it like in a classier way. I don't know if he did it in maybe a little bit classier. I think some of it is that we've gone through it, so people
I think
like,
also,
knew what to expect.
I say this tongue in cheek, but not fully tongue in cheek. I think also he sent us a thank you message.
Yeah, he did a thank you message. He's also younger, so maybe people expected it more. Where Signetti kind of teased maybe he would retire at JMU. I think that rubbed some people the wrong way. And then the like poach players thing on his desk. That irritated some people. He did some stuff that was irritating for sure.
That one definitely irritated me. And I was very much like a Signetti, like, not apologist, but I like Signetti. I think it's very clear that we are a pro Signetti podcast. Even that made me go like, all right, have some shame, man.
Yeah, he was certainly more brash, but it kind of had to be, right, to get Indiana like engaged on trying to win football games, where I feel like UCLA has a little bit more of athletic understanding, where Chesney might not need to publicly light a fire the same way. So it just felt a little different.
And he even said that. Signetti even said that. He said 10 minutes, like all those ESPN like interviews he did. He was like, I was on campus for 10 minutes and I realized they needed a spark of something. So I decided to go to a basketball game and go, Purdue sucks. So does Michigan and Ohio State.
He's the best, man. He's like decently awkward, but he still just goes out there and does his thing. Man.
And I didn't mean for this to be like a 10-minute thing about like Indiana winning a national championship here to start the JMU Sports News Podcast, but I loved his answer at his post-game, like not press conference, but like the on-the-field interview, and they're like, Signetti, what are you going to do? Like, I'm going to have a beer. Like it sounded like he was about to cry having a beer.
He's so funny. Oh, man, what a guy. What a guy.
All right. Do you want to transition over to some transfer portal stuff?
Yeah, I guess we'll talk portal. They got a lot of guys in there. It's like mid to upper 30s, I think, now. They added a couple tight ends. Need to add them in, I think. But they're, I don't know. Not a whole lot has changed. I think one of the future podcasts, we're going to have to go guy by guy and just go through them all. I don't think that's today. But
no, I think that's great off-season content as we like go further into like the off season of the summer.
Oh, yeah.
I think also maybe while we do that, we also organize the transfer portal by positions.
Yeah, I might do a separate thing that has that or something.
Okay, because we did get a couple people asking about that, and one, great idea. Secondly, I'm a little embarrassed Bennett and I never thought of that to start.
We're just throwing them in. I liked tracking it to see who was new. Like if you're like for the diehards, you want to know who's new. So if they add someone new and you hadn't seen it, you can go to the top. Whereas instead of having to go to tight end and be like, did we add a new tight end? But I think once it wraps up, it's worth organizing by position.
Let's air out our own business stuff here on the podcast. I would love to make it like a real table.
Yeah,
that's
that'd be
sortable.
perfect. That'd be ideal.
Like date committed or like announced by Jake or something.
Than I've thought. Like
Is
I think
it?
there's
Okay.
probably
I
a way
thought
to do that with
really
Data
hard.
Wrapper. That'd be pretty easy.
I don't know what Data Wrapper is, but okay.
We'll have to look into that. That makes charts for you, basically.
Okay, because I think a chart would be really cool, like a table that's sortable based off.
That would be good.
Yeah, maybe even hometowns and stuff. I don't know. Call me crazy, but that's
and then
a lot
just
more.
Like random traits, like
Cool.
fast, yes or no, like good vibes, yes or no. It's just like us putting that in though.
Yeah, just off of based off of our own.
40 guys with good vibes. Dog.
Tyler Brown,
yes.
great vibes. The Rock.
That was one of our listener questions this week, and I think that was an important one. Tyler Brown left, and they brought in another Tyler Brown. Who's the next Tyler Brown to come in? And apparently Clemson has a sophomore receiver named Tyler Brown.
Yeah, because we only get this Tyler Brown for 1 year.
And he didn't have crazy stats, but he was getting the ball. Yeah, he's gotten the ball a decent amount in his career, so he could be a tough one to get in the portal, but He's probably the target at this point, I think.
I love that. Maybe.
I think he's got to be.
So since our last podcast, they've added a quarterback, Davy Belfort, and that name just reminds me of Jordan Belford. Like, Davy Belfort. Davy, you know what I mean?
Well, isn't that the name?
Well, his name's Jordan Belfort is the song. Jordan Belfort.
What's the same last name, though, right?
Well, I think it's Belfort, and this is Belfort.
No, I don't think so.
You then put it in the portal wrong.
No, Jordan Belfort is F-O-R-T.
Oh, really? I thought it was Belfort.
No.
Okay, so Davy Belfort is a 5'11", 195-pound quarterback from UCF. His dad was a UFC fighter.
Isn't that sick?
That's pretty cool.
That's so cool.
He started his career at Virginia Tech. Then in UCF, he threw just 6 passes. I think he's a depth piece for this quarterback room. I think this quarterback room, I'm calling my shot here on January 23rd. I think it's going to boil down to a competition between Camden, Arrington Maiden, and J.C. Evans. And I think Camden Coleman comes out on top of that because I think we said in a podcast prior, Camden Coleman's the only one with like legitimate game reps, and he has started a lot of games, and he has won a lot, and he was the go-to quarterback for a Richmond team that was at the top of the CAA both years that he was the quarterback for.
He's pretty good. I think I might go a step further. I think it's going to be Coleman versus Maiden.
You think so?
Yeah. I think J.C. Evans has some really good traits. I wouldn't be nothing would shock me. The same is true for Belfort's got some really good traits. I don't know if Evans is there as a passer. I think Maiden might also have more overall upside athletically. And then I really think it's going to be Coleman, though. He would be my favorite at this point by a pretty significant amount because I think he's the best passer of the group. He runs better than people think. And like you're saying, what are they open with Liberty, I think? And then you've got San Diego State early in the year, first month of the year. They've got some pretty big non-conference games early.
Wagner,
where I think you got to be really confident in your quarterback. And I've said this before, I usually lean toward experience, and then Alonzo Barnett would win the competition regardless of what I said, but he's gone. So I'm going to stick with experience here and say Coleman's my favorite, at least at this point.
I also think he is, based off of the actions of this coaching staff in the portal, and who they went after, I think they prioritized guys who could be make it for a good competition. They didn't go out and I know they offered Landon Clark and they offered the Western Carolina guy. They did strike out, it appears, on both of those. I think Landon Clark was always just a big idea because immediately after they offered him, it was oh, we're not getting him. But I think by them not going out and getting another established veteran quarterback who has a ton of starts underneath their belt, instead they went out and got toolsy guys. I think that shows that they felt comfortable in Cam, if Cam is the person, and that they feel comfortable that they can bring in a quarterback who maybe is toolsy and go with J.C. Evans as well. See if Maiden and Evans take a jump forward this offseason in terms of passing the ball and how quickly they kind of get acquainted with Aiken's offense, and then see how that plays out. But I think based off their moves in the portal, they like Coleman.
Yeah, I think so. So I think they got a fun little battle. But yeah, Coleman's played a lot and been really good. So my guess would be he has a chance to be the guy. I also think we had a few questions about this because the offensive line is very tall. All of the quarterbacks across the country are going to be shorter than the line. I think people would be surprised by how little at times quarterbacks can actually see. It is not perfect field of vision. You have to be able to look between guys, anticipate things. So I'm not overly concerned about quarterback height seeing because they don't have a 7-footer back there. So none of them are going to see over DJ Fox at left tackle.
And also, it's worth noting that a lot of NFL quarterbacks are 6'1" to 6'4", and then a lot of offensive linemen are 6'2" to 6'5". So now, granted, this offensive line is freaking massive.
Huge,
DJ Fox is 6'9", 320 out of UW River Falls. But with that being said, it's not out of the ordinary to have a quarterback that is shorter than your tallest offensive lineman, which is very much the case in this. Also, I love people who are dogging on Alonzo for his batted balls. Can you just dispel that myth real quick?
No, it was a lot of batted balls.
I thought you said he ranked
second, bad in a bad way. He was. He was.
You phrased that in the worst way
No,
possible when you texted me
He was
that.
number 2 in the country in balls batted down. I think he had 16, and like Ty Simpson might have had 17 or something funny like that. So he was up there. He was getting those things swatted.
You worded that in
I should have said second to worst, but
said,
he was like a national leader in batted balls.
You threw it to me. Let me just defend myself here, because I just blindly.
No, they were right. I did throw it to you. He gets his stuff swatted so much, but I think some of that, like the Oregon game, they kind of showed it. He like never changes his arm angle, like ever. So I think some of that was a him thing, and not a height thing, but like he's just throwing it from the same angle and makes it a little easier. Cam Coleman can go a little more sidearm. He can go a little more 3/4.
All about
Let
those
the
arm
Cam
angles,
propaganda begin.
I love it. Other guys they've added since our last podcast: Terrell Thomas, Nakean Jackson. Jackson's a linebacker. Terrell Thomas is an edge. I think Keytrone Simpson is another defensive end that's been added. Frankie Tinalu, ETSU transfer. I think he was right around our last podcast. And then Noel, all you for the last name. Portenjagen.
Oh, that's where is he from? Is he from
Germany?
He's the one from Germany, yeah.
Yeah.
Was he at Florida?
Yes.
He's the only one from Florida, I think, that transferred. Yeah, he's huge though.
6'5", 305.
Okay. I guess compared to the other guys, he's not even that big. He's like the smallest lineman they have.
Yeah,
no, but
he's
he's
actually tiny.
He's another big guy who's got some game. I think he came
Big
in
guy.
there like way heavier.
Big guy.
I think when he
Big
got
guy.
to Florida, he was like, I don't want to say 350, but it was like closer to that than it was 300. So he's a fun prospect. They got a lot of big offensive linemen that, you know, they're going to try some stuff with. And then they added 2 tight ends over the last 2 days that I'll add in here in a bit. They had a guy from Westchester and then a guy from Howard. So they've added tight end depth. The Westchester guy had an Alabama offer, which I think was a PWO, but got some fans excited. They're like, yes, he was offered by Buffalo, Alabama, and JMU. And it's like, well,
one of those things just doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
Essentially, Alabama said, do you want to play here for free?
They seem like depth pieces, probably. I don't know. The tight end position's a weird one. I don't really know what we're going to get under new coach Brian Shore, because they lost some talented tight ends.
They lost Pfeiffer, Lakota, and Logan Kyle. Kyle graduated, did not transfer. So, yeah, there is a hole to fill there. Pfeiffer went to UCLA, which shows that Chesney at least thinks he's a Big Ten talent. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that kind of position group unfolds and how Aiken wants to utilize them. Are they going to be pass catchers? Are they going to be more inline blockers? How are they going to be used? Because you've already got a good wide receiving core with Wiz coming back, Corey Scott, Jeremiah Harrison, Dylan Williams is coming back, Michael Scott's coming back. So you may not need your tight ends to be pass catchers per se. You may need them to be better blockers. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see how Aiken likes to utilize the tight ends and how Brian Shore coaches them.
Calling my shot here. Having Michael Scott and Corey Scott at wide receiver is going to cause some broadcast confusion in 2026.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think that would confuse even. Yeah, that's going to get confusing.
I'm excited for that to just be.
Especially when it's just Scott makes the catch and then we're all at home. Like week 1 when we're still learning like body types and numbers, and it's like, which Scott? By Scott. Great Scott. That should be a call. Kirk Dudley, if you're listening.
Which one's going to be Great Scott, or are they both Great Scott?
Michael Scott's Great Scott because he's the human joystick.
Or is he the human joystick then?
Oh,
he's
and
both?
Then Corey. You know, if I had the last name Scott, my nickname should be Great. So I could be Jack Great Scott.
But or he's human joystick. Michael.
Human
Thunder
joystick
Mifflin,
Scott.
Human joystick Scott. And then Corey Great Scott.
You know, the amount of connections last year's teams had to cult classic, not even cult classic, like highly regarded sitcom mockumentary style shows. You had Wayne Knight, Newman. You had Michael Scott, The Office. That's it, but that's a lot.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people come to this podcast for. Wow. You want to move to questions?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so let me scroll through to find the football questions real quick, and then we can go to basketball and we have a baseball. Did we trade down with UCF quarterback trade? Also, did Bennett unalive that bird that wouldn't quit talking?
No, I didn't kill any birds. Well, we obviously lost the quarterback trade because they took our Sunbelt Player of the Year quarterback and Rocco Marriott. So it's 2-1 just players, and then we got one of their like backups, who is a fun player. But yeah, we certainly lost the trade.
As JMU continues to grow as a program and a brand, how much does having guys like Nick DeGennaro, who did get invited to the Shrine Bowl, how much does it help to have guys like Nick DeGennaro, I assume it's Nick DeGennaro, and Jacob Thomas potentially get drafted, help boost JMU's brand on a national level? Do you foresee anyone on this year's roster potentially getting drafted sometime in the future?
They could use some draft picks. We've talked about this a lot. But they could use some draft picks for, I guess, the national brand, but also just like recruiting. Being like, hey, you can stay here and go pro. And it seems like the better path previously has been...
Everything okay outside?
The better path has been like to leave, go to a P4, and then get picked. So they could use some picks.
Big time. Because their last draft pick was Ben DiNucci, a 7th rounder who only got drafted because he met Mike McCarthy in the elevator while the team was at the national championship at Dallas's practice facility. That's one. Jimmy Moreland also got like a shocking draft pick in the 7th round. He rose up draft boards in a hurry because of his performances like at the Senior Bowl and at the Shrine Bowl and things like that. So it's a big boost for DeGennaro to be at the Shrine Bowl. He has an opportunity to get drafted. Jacob Thomas, I think, does as well. But they need, I think, multiple guys and even a potential early round draft pick like a Mike Green was for Marshall, because you can hang your hat on that. JMU has great all-timers, right? Gary Clark, all-time great NFL player. Charles Haley, all-time great NFL player. You have some of those older guys, but now you need some of the other, like you need some of this modern era to succeed. Even you look at guys like Antoine Wells. We all thought he would be a surefire NFL draft pick, and he played 2 years at JMU, and the Dukes could kind of take a little credit for that one, but he hasn't even panned out in the NFL. Last time I heard he was Last time I heard he was a Giants practice squad guy, maybe even got cut in the middle of the season. John Daka went to Ole Miss for his final year. Was at Detroit for Ukwu, sorry. John Daka, that's a throwback. Daka's it.
He was a dog. Didn't he make like a practice squad though?
Yeah, he did with the Ravens, I think. So not wrong there. Yeah, but Isaac Ukwu, excuse me. He found his way to Detroit for a little bit.
He was playing in some games. They had some injuries, and it was like Ukwu was out there.
The Lions had injuries? Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There might be a substation or something.
Yeah, we got to look into that.
I don't know who would be drafting in the next team because I got to go through, I guess, the portal a little closer and see who might play, but I don't know. What do you think? Receiver? The receivers are kind of young, though.
I think your best bet would be an offensive lineman. Yeah. Like, I feel like offensive linemen are just, like, if you can just get a good year and then test well at the combine, that'd do a lot for you. It would be nice to have a JMU player invited to the combine.
That would help. Yeah.
JMU has not had a player. JMU has not had a player since I've been following the team get invited to the combine.
Moreland was a snub.
He was a snub because he showed out at the Senior Bowl.
It would have been fun to see him go do his thing.
All right. You move over to men's basketball?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is from Duke Dog. Can Spradlin's play style be successful in this era of the portal? In tempo, JMU ranks 300-plus nationally, while Byington's Vandy team is hovering around the 40s to 60s. With that tempo, we need to be efficient on defense and offense and retain players consistently.
They pissed me off so much yesterday. They play South Alabama, and they're just, we've talked about this, but they have like an intentional refusal to create turnovers, right? They're just not trying to do it, which I just don't get it. Stylistically, I don't like it. But they shot like a really similar percentage yesterday to South Alabama. I think they were similar at the free throw line. They might have even been better at the free throw line. I guess they lost a little bit toward the end of the game. But like the shooting percentages is similar for most of the game. The free throws were similar. And like the one difference in the game is that the opponent gets a lot more shots because JMU turned it over 17 times and forced 3. And the difference in shots, it was like 10 or so. and then you had a little bit of a free throw difference at the end as you're trying to get back in the game or whatever, and you're hacking. But like, if you're not going to force turnovers and you're bad at avoiding fouls, it sounds like you're going to be in just a horrible possessional disadvantage every game. And this team's not even close to good enough to like win when they're being outshot. And outshot meaning like they're just getting more shots than you. They have more possessions. Like it's pretty similar points per possession yesterday. South Alabama was a little better and kind of pulled away late in the game, but it was pretty similar throughout the game, and they're down by 10, 15 points because they don't have any possessions, because they turn it over a lot and don't force any, because they don't try to force any. I don't like it's a really frustrating style to try to play if you're not going to do it well, and it's just hard to watch if you're going to go slow and you don't do it well. Like, their whole thing is they go slow and they play good defense, and they're doing one of those really well. They're going slow, but they're not playing good defense. In fact, they suck defensively.
Even offensively, they have not really found a rhythm. They're right about dead average in the Sun Belt this season in conference-only action in offensive efficiency, and second to last in defensive efficiency.
Who's last?
They rank dead last. Who is last?
You're going to like this one. It's ULM. And do you know what ULM did yesterday?
Didn't they allow 100 threes to Marshall?
They gave up 26 threes to Marshall. 115 points, 26 threes. That's the company JMU is keeping right now defensively in the Sun Belt.
And then offensively, they're dead in the middle of the Sun Belt, ranking 7th in offensive efficiency. They rank dead last in turnover percentage defensively, forcing a turnover on just 10% of opponent possessions.
They're not even
That's
trying.
not good. That's not good. You can luck into a number better than that. Like, that's the crazy thing. You could literally luck your way into something better than that.
South Alabama is very good at not turning the ball over, to their credit, but I don't think you're ever going to win a college basketball game when you force 3 turnovers. Like, that's so hard to do. You're definitely not going to win if you force 3 and also give it away 17 times.
It's a frustrating team.
I mean, they suck. They're second to last in the Sun Belt, and then you like listen to it, and people are like, "Well, they're only 3 games out of second." It's like they haven't won 3 games in 8 attempts. Like, what do you mean they're only 3 games out? It's not getting better.
They've also only they've only won 3 games in a row once this season, and it was against Towson, FIU, and Nebraska Omaha.
The teams that have 6 or more conference losses: Old Dominion, which has 15 losses on the season; Louisiana, which has 16; and ULM, which has 17. JMU's 9 and 11 on the year, but they're the company they're sharing in the Sun Belt are like, do they need to fire their coach teams?
It's insane because, like, I'm not saying the vibes were good around the team on January 10th when they beat Old Dominion by 1 point at home, right? But you move to above 500, you're 2-3 in conference play, and you look ahead, and from a JMU fan perspective, you got App State, Marshall, South Alabama, Texas State, Troy, and Southern Miss to finish out the season. Troy and Marshall are probably your 2 toughest games down that stretch, and you should expect to win against App, South Alabama, Texas State, and Southern Miss. You should expect to win those, and the games on the road at Marshall and Troy, okay, those are toss-ups, but honestly, looking at it with purple-colored glasses on, you should expect to win those too because you were in March Madness. You were in the NCAA tournament 2 seasons ago. You've been like, blah, 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 whatever. I'm talking about the vibes on January 10th following that ODU win, and you're like, okay, things can start turning around here a little bit. You can start finding a rhythm. You can use this as a building block. You took down Arkansas State at their place. That's a really impressive win in the Sun Belt. The Marshall loss at home, that's a heartbreaker, 2 points. But, okay, we bounce back with a good come-from-behind victory against Old Dominion. We're a game above 500. We're 1 below 500 in conference play, and we've got a winnable slate coming up. And what do? Lose, 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 look uninspired doing it, look absolutely abysmal, can't force a turnover, can't save their life. It is so frustrating.
Well, and then, like, South Alabama is, like, the best team in the country at forcing you to take threes. And they're like, we're down. Like, we are so down. They took 42 threes, 13 twos. Like, they're just like, we'll play however you want to play. and we are so down. We're going to have a great time doing whatever you guys want to do. But it's like they would have hung in the game playing that style if they had attempted to create turnovers or if they could take care of the ball themselves. And that's the thing that's frustrating. Is like South Alabama, they're 14-6. They're not a particularly good team, but they do force some turnovers. And they don't foul a lot, and they force you to take threes. Like they have a plan that kind of makes sense. And if you have a plan that kind of makes sense and you can kind of execute it in the Sun Belt, you're probably going to be pretty well off. JMU's plan is just like slow it down. And like, I don't know what the plan is. It's just go slow and let them do whatever they want to do. They don't have a team to do that. It doesn't play the team's strengths. Like, I would not be surprised if a lot of players transfer because there's no plan.
Chris Lyles asked, and we've answered this for the most part, but the opinion part I want to get to from Chris's question. Is there any explanation for how bad the men's basketball team is? My opinion, horrible roster makeup and management. Don't load up on players on their third and fourth school. I don't think the third and fourth school part is the issue. I think it's just the roster management and makeup. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they took all the NIL money they had and put it towards football to go towards a college football playoff berth. Maybe they did. Maybe they pulled a Virginia Tech because Virginia Tech did something similar 2 years ago when they kept all of their play. Like, maybe that's what they did. But I don't know. Like, we don't know if that's what they did. Either way, they did not put together the best roster for what Spradlin wanted to do.
Yeah, it's not a particularly impressive roster. And then it'll be like, I just don't think they're that great and they're not consistent. And then Spradlin will be like, we got the front court one day and then we don't have the back court the other day and we just need them to mesh together. I think he said something the other day about like they need 3 to 4 players to like really play at a high level, like of their guys every game. It's like, dude, I don't think you built a roster for that.
We got another question. What can men's basketball do to start getting some Sun Belt wins and salvage something from this season? Because as a reminder, the Sun Belt tournament is set up in the most dramatic way.
They're dead.
I absolutely love it, but the more games you lose, the more games you have to win at the end of the season. So for a team that finishes in the bottom 4, of the Sun Belt, you essentially have to win 7 games in like 7 days.
Yeah. I feel pretty confident that they're just dead.
They would just need like McBride to go God mode and score 25 a game.
Did you see him yesterday when they lose by 7? He put up 30. He was 5 of 6 from 3, 4 of 6 from 2, 7 from 9 from the line. Like he kind of did. His offensive rating
had a
was
double-double,
147.
had 5 offensive boards, 7 defensive boards, just 3 turnovers.
He kind of did go God mode, and then they basically just rolled the ball out to Cliff Davis and Bradley Douglas and said, "Hey, do you guys want to take as many threes as you humanly possibly can?" And they're both like, "Bet."
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand it. Like, what is a coach supposed to do? You're supposed to tell your guards, "Hey, get it to McBride. Like, let's try finding some penetration. Why are we letting them settle?"
I just don't like McBride 5 of 6 from 3, Preston Fowler 3 of 7 from 3, and Cliff Davis is 4 of 16. Why is he taking 16?
Bradley Douglas 3 of 9, so they're a combined 9 of 25.
Why are they taking 25 and McBride and Fowler get 13?
Like, that feels like a coaching thing, right?
When those
like,
two are what? They're 8 of 14. Like, they're both hot. Let them chuck. Let them chuck, man.
If we're gonna have anyone chuck, why aren't they the chuckers?
They're
like,
better chuckers, yeah.
4 of 16 benched. You should not be playing in the next game. Benched.
Well, and then he at least he didn't turn it over a lot. He had 6 assists to 1 turnover. So he did that's the thing that's confusing though, is like he's finding dudes and they're hitting shots. Just let him keep doing that. Like change it game by game. Don't be like, "Hey, I need you to take 16 threes." That's very Jackie Benitez coded.
Oh man. That was Jackie Benitez coded without Kamaya on the court or Lexi Barrier on the court. And this is this is Jackie Benitez coded with Justin McBride on the court. All right. Last question here before we wrap things up. This is a really, really good question from Duke, Chicago Duke 1. Pretend you're athletic director Matt Roan with $1.2 million in revenue share to allocate for next year. On a percentage basis, how much are you giving to each JMU team, men's and women's included? Does it make sense to spend beyond football and men's basketball? I've got kind of a hot take on this.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not as much of a hot take, but maybe it is a hot take. I would actually allocate more money, not saying more in terms of percentage, but like invest more in men's and women's basketball, because that's going to get you the most money in the long term. If you like are just a wagon in the Sun Belt and get to the NCAA tournament every other year, and you win a March Madness game once every 3 years, and maybe you go on a March Madness type of run once every 5 years, you're getting a lot of money for your team. And I understand the college football playoff comes with a payout as well. Yeah. I just think it's so much more difficult in the football sphere when you're not guaranteed that spot. It's all of the G5, and you don't even know what college football is going to look like in the next 3 years.
I think that's why they're spending so much on football. I think they don't get left behind.
Yeah, which there's arguments for both sides, and I completely agree with both sides. And I think we've even said it, like when JMU was thinking about making the jump up to FBS, and we were like, well, what about going A10 and staying in the CAA for football? And like that was also an intoxicating thought, because it is fun when the AUBC is like rocking. And Bridgeforth rocking is also an amazing atmosphere. But during that Byington year, that last year of Byington, it felt fun inside the Atlantic Union Bank Center.
And it's more frequent, right? Yes. You get six football home games, where basketball you're playing 15 to 20 at home. So you get a little more of that juice. I will say, though, at least from what we've heard, the $1.2 million, they're spending like more than that on football alone.
Yes.
Like they're spending some coin on the football roster.
Whether that's rev share, NIL, whatever it is, but they've got a good little war chest of stuff.
Seems like they've eclipsed the millions with an S now.
Seems like they've also just said we are going football, because at the end of the day, too, you've got to look at it as a larger picture, like what football is able to do on a grand scale in terms of increasing admissions, increasing eyeballs. Like, it is great marketing for the entire university. Athletics is the front porch of the university. All of that stuff, that is valid, and football football brings in the most eyeballs, the most free, putting quotes around that, free marketing dollars as anything does. But I think men's basketball is so much fun.
They also lit some money on fire with the men's basketball roster that they will get back this next season.
Yes.
So
would have been better off just giving us that money.
Actually, though,
like literally. All right. Anything else you got to add?
No, we'll get to some of these other ones. There's some like softball stuff in here, in coming weeks as we get into softball and baseball.
Yeah. And we'll likely transition to maybe an every other week podcast. Yeah. We'll probably start posting them more on the back ends of weeks, because I feel like Thursday, Friday recordings are the best for us in terms of what the schedule is moving forward.
Yeah.
So keep it locked. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube as well, so you never miss a drop. That way you're notified whenever they do drop into your feed. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. It's easy to find us at JMU Sports News. Drop a follow there. Be part of it all over there. And also, DM us, tweet us, whatever it is. I've been toying with this idea of starting a Discord for JMU Sports News, and I kind of want to crowdsource that, if it is even worth our time, because it would be more of a time commitment, and I don't want to do something that doesn't have any interest. So let us know what your thoughts are on Discord. You can DM us on Twitter, Instagram. You can email us, jmusportsnews@gmail.com. We're toying with the idea of a Discord. Let us know what your thoughts are. That ding from Outlook is a perfect way to finish things out. Bennett,
I had it open.
Oh, come on, man. All right, for the entire production crew, Marty.
Yes.
Could you imagine if we had an entire production crew?
That'd be pretty cool, man.
We should do that. Let's just burn money, much like men's basketball. Let's light some money on fire. See you, Bennett.